Good morning, folks. Today you are going to read a very difficult text called A Very Old Man with Enormous Wings by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, who is from Colombia. And as you will notice, this has a 12th grade reading level. But unfortunately for you, that is the type of thing you're going to have to read on your EOC. So to help you through these types of reading passages on your EOC, I'm going to show you some strategies that you can use, well, when you take the EOC. Okay, so the first one is called road mapping. So what you do with road mapping is you read a paragraph, just a paragraph at a time, and then on your sheet of blank paper they give you, you write the main ideas or the main things that happened during that paragraph. The purpose of this is to force yourself to go back and reread if you're not sure what happened in that paragraph. It's an active reading strategy. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do that using this first paragraph of A Very Old Man with Enormous Wings. So I'm going to be typing mine into this Google Doc, but for you, you will be using a sheet of paper. Alright, so first paragraph. On the third day of rain they had killed so many crabs inside the house that Pelayo had to cross his drenched courtyard and throw them into the sea, because the newborn child had a temperature all night, and they thought it was due to the stench. The world had been sad since Tuesday. Sea and sky were a single ash-gray thing, and the sands of the beach, which on March nights glimmered like powdered light, had become a stew of mud and rotten shellfish. The light was so weak at noon that when Pelayo was coming back to the house after throwing away the crabs, it was hard for him to see what it was that was moving and groaning in the rear of the courtyard. He had to go very close to see that it was an old man, a very old man, lying face down in the mud, who in spite of his tremendous efforts couldn't get up, impeded by his enormous wings. Okay, wow, that was a lot to take in at once. And as you can see, the author writes with a very complicated sentence structure. So to focus just on the road mapping strategy, I'm going to take a look at the first sentence here. On the third day of rain, they had killed so many crabs inside the house that Pelayo had to cross his drenched courtyard and throw them in the sea because the newborn child had a temperature all night and they thought it was due to the stench. Okay. So what I got out of that is Pelayo threw away some crabs because it was upsetting the baby. And if you don't want to, you don't have to write incomplete sentences. That's just how I happen to write it this time. Road mapping is very personal to you. Like, it would be fine if I even just abbreviated this like that. Okay, so continuing. The world had been sad since Tuesday, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so basically this part is talking about how it's been raining for a long time, so I'm going to write that. Okay. The light was so weak at noon that when Pelayo was coming back to the house after throwing away the crabs, it was hard for him to see what it was that was moving and groaning in the rear of the courtyard. So it was dark. He had to go very close to see that it was an old man, a very old man, lying face down in the mud, who in spite of his tremendous efforts couldn't get up, impeded by his enormous wings. Okay. He found an old man with wings who couldn't stand up. So those are the 3 or 4 main things that happened. Pelayo threw away some crabs because it had been upsetting the baby. He talks about how it's been raining for a long time and it's dark. And then Pelayo finds an old man with wings who can't stand up. So that's the road mapping part. The second thing I want you to do today is to annotate using the annotation tool on Common Lit. So you'll notice up here it says, as you read, take notes on the reactions of the people who see the old man with enormous wings. Alright, so we don't see Pelayo's reaction in the first paragraph, but we do see it in the second paragraph. talking about Pelayo, it says, frightened by that nightmare, Pelayo ran to get Elisenda, his wife, who was putting compresses on the sick child, and he took her to the rear of the courtyard. Okay, so I'm going to highlight frightened by that nightmare, click the little T to add an annotation, and I'm going to write Pelayo was afraid of the man. Because remember, we're looking for reactions of people who see the old man with the enormous wings. To summarize, as you read through this story, I want you to road map the paragraphs. You can skip paragraph 1 because I've already done it for you, but starting with paragraph 2, I need you to road map the rest of them. There should be 12 more. Once again, you'll be writing on paper rather than in a Google Doc because paper is what you will have on the exam. At the same time, I want you to annotate for the reactions of the people who see the old man with the enormous wings. If you do these two things, you will have a much better chance of understanding this story and getting the questions right. So once you have finished this, you will move on to the assessment questions, which look like this. Okay? I want you to answer 1 through 5. You do not have to answer 6 and 7 unless you just want extra credit. Alright, that's about all there is to it, so good luck with this very difficult story. I believe in you guys.